In 1958, American physician William Higginbotham designed an interactive computer program of tennis which could be played with two remotes. This would be one of the first early developed video games in history and would lay the path for what we have now.
I was born to rock the world.
The year is 1996 and Duke Nukem 3D released. A game that was not only praised for its action, but was also praised for its interactive and humorous environments within the game that would lay the path for other FPS shooter games or even FPS related games. And also, of course, around this time, many games were trying to push the limits or even go beyond the limits on what they could do in a game to make it better, to make it more fun and more entertaining for people to have fun with. And of course, Duke Nukem was jump-started to have a sequel called Duke Nukem Forever. The game would officially be announced on April 28, 1997, with the release being around 1998. The game would have used the Quake 2 engine from ID Software, though the rights wouldn't be acquired until November of 97. Around the year the game was meant to release, a trailer at the E3 event would be a release showing gameplay footage of Duke Nukem Forever. And by God, it looks fantastic. Even by today's standards, I would love to play this game.
What? Did you think I was gone forever?
But soon after the release of the trailer, the Unreal Engine around the year of 1998 would also be released, showing superior graphics and more innovation for large-scale environments. Unanimously, the switch would be made, the transfer to Unreal Engine from Quake 2 engine. And despite the transition, there was no intention to miss the due date. They would miss it a lot. And they would miss it a lot more to the point people didn't know where the game was at that point. That was until a trailer in 2001 was released for Duke Nukem Forever.
What a clear September day, and here I am stuck in the stupid plane. God, I hate flying. Sometimes I just want to...
The years between 1998 and 2001 had the development team adding new content which was interactive and groundbreaking for the game, but it also led to the game being delayed heavily as they mostly focused on that instead of finishing the actual game. Though from what I've researched and from what I've read is that this isn't entirely their fault. Instead, it's rather, and not to say it's his fault either, but largely due to George Broussard, who was in charge of the game. You see, George Broussard also was the one that recommended switching to Unreal Engine, but he was also the one that suggested the game to have new groundbreaking elements, which was very much interactive gameplay. He also wanted to include a new multiplayer mode which came from the newer version of the Unreal Engine. But the biggest contributor to why this game wasn't entirely finished by 2001 was because George didn't know what he wanted the game to be. He didn't have a layout. Even though we were getting game trailers, it was pretty much Duke versus Alien. Similar to the first trailer, many people like this trailer. Me watching it right now, it's one of the most badass things I've ever seen. Unfortunately though, behind the scenes, there was many financial problems. The rights of Duke Nukem would transfer through, I believe, 2 companies, and it would go then to finally Take-Two Interactive. And in 2003, they would switch engines again. The footage here is actually from the 2003 build from Duke Nukem Forever. I'd also like to note that they would also switch engines again by 2004. But I believe by this point, Take-Two Interactive was not taking any more bullshit, and they actually wanted George to finish the game, where I guess George finally had a finished product for the game, on what he wanted to do. So at this point, by 2000 all the way up to 2005, they would actually be just completing the game somewhat. Like I said, 2004, they switched engines again. I believe they were making their own engine. But another contributing factor to why this game would even take longer was because many of the staff were just leaving, because that would be one of the only games they've been working on for like almost, I believe, let's see, 1996, 2007. Okay, yeah, this game, I'm pretty sure I would have left by the 5-year mark. I'm just saying.
Wow, what a reception.
By the year of 2007, a larger majority of the game had actually been done, and a lot of it was being tested as well. But the game was still a few more years away from being completed. You have to remember though, many fans were kept basically in the dark on what was going on with Duke Nukem Forever. So on December 19, 2007, a teaser trailer would finally be released for Duke Nukem.
Looking for some alien toilet to park my bricks. Who's first?
The planned release date was around 2008, but around 2009 they still weren't finished, and their development and funding was suspended. Take-Two Interactive would put a lawsuit up against 3D Realms for not finishing the game, though in 2010 the lawsuit would be settled and the game would proceed to being finished, with the help of a small group collaborating with Gearbox.
They used to tell stories of a man who saved the world, a man whose very presence sent aliens running back to their motherships, the man who disappeared without a trace. When the invaders came back, they came back angry. They tore our planet apart, bit by bit. But they made one mistake. They shouldn't have gone after our women.
Damn it. Why do they always take the hot ones?
On June 10th, 2011, Duke Nukem Forever would finally release after 14 years. How was the game, aside from the history of blunder, craps, and ducks that had occurred in its development? Well, I had just one word about this game. Nothing, because I enjoyed my time with Duke Nukem World Tour 3D on the Xbox Series X.
What? Did you think I was gone forever?
Okay, maybe I have more than just nothing for this game. I had played this 3 times, First time I was really curious on why it took 14 years to make. Second time, see if it was really bad as I remembered. And I played it one last time recently, but with the DLC story, The Doctor Who Cloned Me, which was said to be 10 times better than the main story. But we'll save the review for part 2. But honestly, in my fair opinion, this game is a piece of file that should go in the dumpster. Ow! Tell everyone how you liked my game. Get the hell out of my house. You came to me in the last video. I don't have to put up with it. Ow! You got balls of steel. Someone help me. And my next video will be the review so I can get rid away from this crazy ass mother.
I'm like, hey, what's up?